All right, we're back with another episode. I'm your host, Mitchell Bettenhausen. Today we have Nevada on again. We are headed into Blizzard Bash week. A lot of people from the North Dakota and Midwest areas going down and all over the place. Um, I'm headed down. Nevada's headed down. Going to be a lot of beers drank. It's going to be a good time. See a lot of good people. Friends. Some of the friends I only get to see once a year is at Blizzard Bash, so it's kind of nice to get back. I think Nevada, you're leaving on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm leaving my house Wednesday, and we'll leave Tyler's Thursday morning and pick everybody up on the way. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm leaving town Wednesday, but trip
sure,
doesn't technically probably start till Thursday morning. But
sure. Yeah, we're trying to get some of the group to leave earlier on Wednesday due to the storm that's possibly some people might run into. We were gonna go out to far going south, but it's looking like we might have to just go straight south of Bismarck and kind of hit some 2-lane highways through South Dakota for a while. We're stopping in Lincoln, Nebraska the first night. So gonna stay there and go visit some Huskers on Thursday morning before the Derby.
yeah, I'm I'm the first official recurring guest on the Motorsports Minute. So
You are. I know. I know. It's making big strides around here. I seen Team CPI. I'd seen Calisota Style. I seen those were two of the bigger names. I seen I think United States Demolition Derby had pictures of their cars posted heading down to Blizzard Bash. I'm not sure if you've seen anyone else.
Chaos is down there. Um, what's the Blake Neely's team? Is there? Are they Postal Mopar?
Yep.
Yeah,
And then yeah, I talked to Carson Dixon a little bit. I did try to get him on, but he's trying to power through drive down there. He has tech at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, I believe.
yeah. He had a Snapchat when he left. He weighed his pickup as 50,000 pounds. I was like, holy smokes. I mean,
I
that's
mean,
for a 1 ton pickup or whatever they had it hooked
even
to.
for like a single axe truck, that's a pretty good load. Or even just a regular truck, that's a pretty decent load.
Yeah.
So, I mean, typical Dixon fashion might be a slim bit late, but he got her done like usual, and most likely a hard car.
Yeah. GWC and 448, they're on their way. I saw. I mean, I'm sure everybody's on their way there, but just who I've seen pictures of or whatever.
Yeah, they were people were trying to hide their cars for a while, but they've finally been hitting the internet here in the last
Yeah.
day and a half.
Whoever runs that United States Derby page really like as soon as like I see one on Snapchat or something, or it's like on there too, or someone's personal Facebook, and then yeah, they're watching everything. It seems like.
Yeah, I don't know who. I am curious who runs it because they do a great job because they're on top of it for sure. And I don't maybe people are sending it to them. I don't know how it works, but it's neat to see. I mean, I like watching the cars go down. So
It really, I don't know, it gets me more excited to leave. I mean, even like the beatdown when they start posting pictures, it's definitely a different caliber. But yeah, seeing the Blizzard Bash cars, it's like, I mean, like I said, I haven't been there in a few years, and I'm pretty excited. And then you see pictures, it's like, God, like today, I had my couple things to do at work, and I kind of had that done. I was looking for something else, so I was flipping through, and I was like, man, I'd just rather just leave right now. I just want to leave, just get there.
right, yeah, I don't know. Looks like I looked forward to the weather. Looks like is it Friday could be in the like 60s to 70s, but after that it kind of
Thursday,
coast
Friday.
down to yeah, but coast down into Saturday, Sunday 40s to 30s, so it'd be a lot of, coveralls and bush lights hidden in the coveralls trying to get into the event center, I'm sure. I'm already breaking all the rules, telling everyone all the secrets, I guess security will be watching for it. But within the last couple of years, security has gotten a lot more stringent. You used to be able to, like, sneak beers and get in there, now, go through the metal detector process and everything.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
last year was the first year since I've been there that, they're very strict with the security, and it made getting inside a lot longer. 'Cause in the past, you could just basically when it was say 10 to 20 minutes of showtime, everyone just kind of went inside and sat down. Now it's like a huge waiting line to get in.
Well, I wonder, Blizzard Bash must be. I mean, I guess it's been 2 years or whatever since last time I've been to Carnage, but must be worse because I don't remember Carnage being like that.
Yeah, no, Blizzard Bash wasn't like that either the first few times I went, but I think this is my sixth year going down. I don't know, been down quite a few years in a row, but last year it actually kind of because it was cold as hell out, and there'd be 100 to 200 people waiting in line, and it's just slow, super slow. And if you're drinking and you got to pee, you
Yeah.
can't get in. You can't get in any faster. It wasn't ideal by any means. Hopefully it's a little different, but I
Yeah,
don't.
one thing about the expo center, what I've noticed, if there's a problem like that, they do a pretty good job of trying to fix it the next time, whether, whatever it is, lines or ventilation or whatever. So, I mean, they're actually trying. So maybe I would hope they kind of thought of something anyway.
Hopefully, yeah, yeah, because they had kind of had the Ticketmaster slash Pit Pass problem last year, and seems like they got that kind of figured out. You could buy it all in one this year instead of last year. You had to wait in line and go buy it, right at the event. But yeah, I did see. It's kind of neat to see almost all these teams from all over. They got their own merch. Minnesota Madness, Team Chaos, CPI, Blackout, everyone.
I
Um,
think everybody has something,
yeah, and it's bad to say, but I have yet to buy anything from anyone. But I was kind of waiting until I get down there. Just
right?
rather buy it there and then wear it while I'm there right away. It's just easier for me instead of trying to
Yeah,
run to someone's house or get it shipped or whatever else.
if there's not anybody I know personally on a team, I'm probably not going to. But yeah, the
Sure.
friends or whatever, try buy one of their shirts if they got some extras or whatever.
Right, right. Yeah, and we even have a compact team headed down from North Dakota. I believe Taylor Kane. I don't know when they tech. Uh, they probably tech, I'm guessing Thursday afternoon or Friday morning.
Have to roll through the first time.
Yep. So yeah, Taylor Kane and is it Austin Deering? They're
Nick
headed down there,
Stolsky and Nick or Ryan Miller.
right? The compact teams are all not all of them, but there's a lot of familiar names in there that kind of seem to come back year after year. You got Minnesota Madness, so they've won it before. Usually have a couple of Camaros with Mike. He's building the trans coolers and all that, so he's pretty well known. Got Nate and Jared and Andy. They all build a pretty solid ride. Plum Crazy. I've been following and watching those guys for a long time. Tracy Miller out of Wisconsin. I got to know him when I built compacts way back when, and he's always been good to me. And
Yeah,
his
Cody, is it Kuth Newth or
Knuth, yeah,
whatever? He
yeah,
builds, always built whatever he builds is good. I mean, he
yeah.
does.
And last year, I might be wrong, but last year he might have got trailered.
Oh,
I think might have been a little overbuilt, but
well, he built that. Was it Carnage or was it Blizzard Bat? He built the '80s GM or something, didn't he? For down there, was that him?
yeah.
Or
Well,
who
I'm
was it,
trying
maybe?
to think what he built last year, but I could be mistaken, but he might have been loaded last year.
Okay.
But I might not be 100%. But yeah, he builds a nasty ride. That compact Killas that they used to have a different name. Was it Compact Cadillacs or something like that? They got Ullman and Tyler Ford and Skillman. I mean, that's another stacked team.
Yeah, I know they, looking through the list and the names and stuff, like, the guys have been back year after year when, I
Yep.
mean, I'm very far from the compact scene and I recognize some of those guys.
Right. Yeah, same. I mean, I don't follow the compacts a whole heck of a lot, but I did run them for quite a while and I've seen these names year after year. And, a lot of them have been in the winner circle. Even the team OMM, they got the two Jacob and Josh Wood and Sickles and Kurt Turpin. They have always driven balls out. Always got the orange cars driving just absolute bonkers. They're fun to watch, super fun to watch. Um, and we also got our limited weld teams. We got as always, team ass
Yeah,
kicker.
sure.
So,
Yeah,
they're going down on the trying to defend the title, but
I
there's
think they might as well have just painted those cars neon pink because I would say the target is firmly placed on them.
oh boy, yeah, it's
I know Caddy Nation has had their fair share of success down there, but I don't know. They just ass kicker seems. I mean, they're always there, and Caddy Nation is too. And then what's the SMS? They're always in there as well.
yeah, no, they
Sliders team.
but I think last year it came down to Derby tees and as kickers, and Team Derby tees
There was,
had a
yeah, there was
bunch
like
of hard
two teams
cars.
kind of down at the end. It was Stringer and Derby Tees, and I think there was one other kind of
Caddy
was in.
Nation, yep. I don't remember which driver for them, but there was one of their team members at the end too. So, I mean, Kent's
Yeah,
Outlaws, they're a good team.
Derby
So it's
Tees, Caddy Nation, Unknown. That's got Graham Barker. He was on what was their team last year? Twisted Metal or something, and he went in there and kind of held his own by himself for most of the time. So I'm kind of
right,
interested to see he's on it. I mean, he's with some different guys this year. I'm kind of interested to see how that team goes. They were pretty overlooked last year, and he really held his own. He's from Washington. He runs quite a bit, so
right,
so now that he's got some other guys on his team, I wonder. Hopefully, they have a little bit better showing than his team did last year. Anyway,
right. Yeah, I mean, it is Blizzard Bash. So there's no lack of bad teams, bad drivers by any means. And just cruising through the list here, I did not know until now that I am looking. Shea Walden is running in the
yeah,
limited weld. Wow. Um, that'll be very interesting to watch. He's he's always been a wheelman, so that'd
right.
be very interesting to watch.
Yeah, and then or no, not for hires on the or the qualifying. Never mind. Who else? Yeah,
Yeah,
Lane Hall from South Dakota. He's ran really well at Carnage a few times, and now he's on a team, so should be pretty good. He ran Carnage one year without a mid. What the heck? Something with his setup, like his full cradle setup, like blew up right before, and he ran Carnage without a full cradle or trans protector or something, and he made the feature with it. And we're just like, I would have just probably left it at home.
right. Yeah, you got
He's a
Paul
very good
on
driver.
Hanson Motorsports, like Darby Hanson and Paul. I don't want to mess his name up. Boker. So he builds bumpers and stuff.
Okay.
And just another Jason Dials on the Outsiders,
Yeah, that
Tiny.
team is
I
always
mean,
pretty
they're
stacked.
always fun to watch too. Bobby Brock, Eric McNeely on GFY. So, I mean, there's going to be uh, no lack of anything on those. Vic Whaley, Corey. I think you brought that team up, Corey.
Yep.
All
Well,
all
they
going to
can
be tough heats. That's for sure.
must be able to run O3s in limited weld. Can they run imps there now too?
I don't know
Priest.
about imps, but I know they're allowed 103.
Brent's got O3, right?
I believe so. Yeah, Brett's running 03 for their team.
So
Yeah.
that'd be interesting as well to see how those do in that type of build.
Yeah. I think they'll still do pretty well. It's just it's always with that build, it's going to come down to the steering rack because you have to leave the aluminum steering rack in. So that could be one of the tougher parts, but it's still going to be a hard car. You're still getting your
Yep.
cradles. I mean, you got to cut your firewall out, but you
Yeah,
still
they lock those limited weld cars lock in and they don't go anywhere once they do, it seems like.
no. I mean, yeah, they're a ways from the qualifying team cars. I get that as far as the welding and stuff goes, but they don't have as many plates, yada yada, but they're still locking in, no firewall. I get that, but
Well, and
it's
you're not
still
hitting
hard.
cars that are, I mean, you're hitting
Right.
cars that are equal. So
Right.
they do what they do, I guess.
Hitting lighter cars, not necessarily as much horsepower as some of the bigger teams. Not all of them, but usually that's kind of what I've seen in the past. But the cars are probably 2,000 pounds lighter than some of the qualifying or national cars.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
moving up. Oh,
Well, I was just gonna say, like, it's always interesting at Blizzard Bash, like the dispersion of cars like wagons versus Cadillacs versus old iron GMs versus Vics. Now with 3 Vics and Imperials, just kind of trying to take your best guess of who will have what. But even the pictures that I've seen of who's down there already, I'm like, oh, I was wrong on that one. I was wrong on that one. Like,
Yep.
it's kind of
Yep.
interesting to see how they fall or guys build something different.
Yeah, and I think Derek Creetlow showed that even a metric GM can play down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did it. In my opinion, that car held really well, really, really well. I'm glad I own a few, so I hope he keeps running them, make the price go up on them. Seems that's what always happens if it does well at a big show like this, and all of a sudden the price is doubled. So
It's always funny at Blizzard Bash, like what does well down there, and so much luck and stuff goes into it, and just kind of how the heats fall. But like whatever does well in there is like the big thing for the next year. Like I was giving Brady crap about his donut tires he runs on the front.
right,
There was a million of those down at Beatdown and everything, just because that car. I know Brett ended up driving it, but like that car was the one that won, and then everybody ran donuts on the front. And there was even
right,
like a TikTok of somebody that put them on like a Jack Duramax, and I sent it to him on Snapchat, and I was like, after seeing Brady Larson run Blizzard Bash, he's like,
right. It's the truth, though. I mean, anything can happen. Even Tori and Mike, a few years ago, I was down helping them pit. Anything can. They got some of the hardest cars down there, and I can't remember if it was after the B main or what it was. They come out and their frames were one of them. The whole frame was pushed over. It's like they can still move, and those are national cars or maybe
oh,
qualifying at the time, but and they're hard, hard cars.
it's just all about angles and momentum when stuff gets that hard. You hit somebody's your square and you hit somebody 45. You're putting your pressure on 2 frame rails and you're putting on one of theirs or something, or
Right.
you know hit a bump right before you hit them and clear their bumper and hit the core support, and stuff starts going south in a hurry. And
Right. Right. Yeah. So is Tyler running a car down there?
no, he's just
No.
taking transmissions down.
Gotcha. So the Tyler Simmons on the qualifying list is a different Tyler.
Yeah, it's a different guy.
Gotcha. Okay. 'Cause I can't say I'm familiar with that team. That team must have got in new this year. Um
Yeah, I don't recognize anybody on that one either.
FYF. I know a couple people. Matt Schilling used to run with Team CPI. Jordan Booz. I
Probably when they were.
believe I believe this was the most hated motorsports team. Is that the way it's looking to me?
Which one?
FYF. It looks like, I mean, because I did see
Oh,
Tony Burkhart's not running this year.
yeah,
So
that Jordan Booz was on MHM.
so Matt Schilling ran with them as well
Yeah.
last year. So you got RPM
You want
Redemption.
to talk about a team that has bad luck? It seems like when they go down there, it always MHM always just seems like, I don't know, like they always run hard and everything, and just cards end up not following their way, and just stuff goes south on them. Seems like to me.
Right, right. Yeah, and you got RPM Redemption. I mean, that's yeah, the Quas and Creetlow. That's Mr. Hollywood. That's always a good team. Realistic Derby Project. I can't say I've heard that team before. Um, it's always good to see new names finally get in though, because I know
That's
how hard it is to get into Blizzard Bash. So it
right.
is new for a guy like me. I've been down there year after year after year. It's nice to see new faces get in there.
Well, I
Um,
mean, I think if you don't place, the bottom 2 or 3 teams of the
mhm.
qualifying's more. If you're the bottom couple are out, I mean, it really opens the door, and then teams consolidate or whatever. And then, yeah, the
Yeah.
qualifying always kind of seems about 50-50 on who ends up in there or not.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of that happens. A lot of teams, people get sick of it or whatever, move on, and teams kind of mesh. A few people hop in with other people. Yeah, we got Zur Engineering is always a very good team. Michael Zur, Spencer Harrington, Corey Chandler's on there. Corey used to run in the compacts. I believe he's won the compacts once or twice. And you got Brody Brown. That's another very good team.
Yeah, those guys always build good cars, and I think they're mostly all Cadillacs most of the time. I think, well, Kelby Miners usually ran on that team too, but he's not this year. He's running a truck instead, I think, if
Right.
he shows up with it, I
I,
guess. Or
I believe Zers built a Vic in the past, but they're another team that's always had bad luck, but they
yeah,
have such a clean build. It's always a very, very clean build. Yeah, it'd be interesting because there's a lot of new names for me in there. As far as the national teams go, a lot of familiar names, familiar faces. Right off the top of the list is Calisota Style, and pretty much if you've been almost not even just Blizzard Bash, almost anywhere in the Derby space, you've heard of Calisota Style.
yeah,
Um,
those guys they put a. I mean, it was well, Rob Pure and they ran with Caddy Nation at the team show that Caleb put on, the beatdown or whatever, and then like Chris ran with Corey Anderson at Mulbridge, they're Calisota style. So I mean, yeah, they run
I mean,
somebody, one of those people run somewhere.
even back in the day, they used to run the Mandan team show. So, and yeah,
Wow.
they do have a new teammate though. Last year, I think they had Songaluski.
Yeah.
So they got Artie Tressler this
Mm.
year on the team. So I'll be see how he kind of meshes with them. They've always had a good, I don't know,
Kind of
everyone.
been flip flopping those, after Mitch kind of hung it up. They've been trying to find that fourth, and Carson's only what's he ran? This is his third time with them.
Sec, yeah, third time. Yeah,
So yeah, I mean it's the core two, and then now I think Dixon's probably considered the fourth now, and they're kind of trying to find that fourth guy, I guess. But
right. Yeah, and you move on down the list. I got Jacob Prusman, Colton Newhoff, and he was a guy that always ran Blizzard Bash, and he kind of quit for a while. You always seen him run out in Minnesota. I actually ran against him out at Winter Slam 2013. I don't know,
mm,
16. But the guy used to win Winter Slam year after year. But he's a very well known driver. I seen he hopped. I wouldn't say hopped back in the driver's seat, but he ran quite a few cars this summer. Did very well. Ryan Songaluski, as always, builds a nasty ride along with Jason Brzezinski.
yeah, is that kind of like that's kind of Team Kansas, right? With Brian and Jason, the old Team Kansas, like the old the original.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Yeah, I mean, Team Ski, and then they kind of disassembled after the whole wagon a couple years ago, and then so it's that team as well has kind of been flopping back and forth. But that'll be for sure one to watch. That'll be awesome team. Team Kansas. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
you just can't ignore them. They're always seems like they're always in the feature, and they're always one, two, or three. Just clean builds. It's fun to watch them. They're drivers. They're wheelmen. All of them. Team Octane, hard drivers. Booger, he's always one that's getting announced. He's a big name down there. Been there for years.
yeah. Dylan Kunkel and
Hmm.
always. I don't. I mean, those are probably the most showy cars when they pull in the arena. It seems like they always have underglow on them and different
Yeah.
things.
Yep.
And
Crazy
they,
Iowans. I've seen them down there for years and years.
yeah, I mean, that team, I think it's pretty much been those four, yeah, every time. And they kind of like, I don't know if they ever ran the limited weld like way back when, but I mean, they ran
Sure.
qualifying for a lot of years and just barely would always miss
Yep.
national. And I think, were they in the national and lost it and then had to come back up?
I
But yeah, I mean, they have a lot of experience at Blizzard Bash, going in both
right,
qualifying and national.
right. And you move down to WRP. Well, they were second or first last year, whatever they got. You got Kenny, you got Matt Hoffmeister. I mean, the whole team. Tim, Jared. It was good fun to watch him last year. I can't remember. I think Kenny was the one rocking the Imperial for them last year.
No, I think he had a pick last
or
year.
was it and was some or was it Matt? I know they had an imp on their team. So, CPI, they're back, same team as last year.
Well, I think Tim had the imp because I remember it being 42. I
Sure,
think
sure,
so, but
sure. But
yeah,
CPI's
yeah,
back.
mhm,
They always have clean builds. I've seen the builds, always
yep,
good. They just had some tough luck in the feature last year. It's all it came down to. They had good luck all the way up until the feature and just ran
yep.
out of it, unfortunately. So hopefully they
Yeah,
can capitalize on it this year.
safe to say that's who we're probably pulling for, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, probably gonna be pulling pretty hard for those guys. I don't know, Mike, a little bit I've talked to Mike and Tori. That's talks that they might be done, in the future. So, I
Yeah,
always want to see someone go out on a high note. I never want to see someone go out on a low note. So
right.
hopefully they can pull it off. Even placing in Blizzard Bash, in the features.
Just so many cards need to fall your way to. I mean,
Yeah.
you can have the best team cards everywhere, and
And a
one
lot of
gets
friends.
hung up weird. Damn, and yeah, screws your team over. And yeah, I put eyes on two of those cards, and pretty good. So
Yeah. Yeah, they
obviously,
always are. Yeah, you get Team Bush Light. Uh been watch them in the qualifying, work their way up as well. Fun team to watch. A lot of hard drivers in there as well. You can definitely tell though how they drove, not even just their team, all these teams that moved up into the national bracket from the qualifying, the different style of driving has changed. You have to drive a lot harder to get out of the qualifying to make your way up into the national bracket.
yeah, it'll be interesting. Just like you said, if the teams that bumped up out of qualifying will slow down any, but I don't for just looking at the teams that did bump up, I don't foresee it happening. But you never know, I guess.
You got Team Chaos that we know out of North Dakota here. They bumped up a year or two ago, 2 years ago. Last year was their first year in nationals,
Yep.
and they're a wild team. So you got Hayes, he's kind of their wheelman, and then I think the rest of the three are the hammers.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, they had all wagons last year, and I know there's a Vic on there this year. I don't know what the other three. I mean, I know one's a wagon, but I don't know what the other two are yet.
Yeah, they had some tough luck last year, but that happens. I mean, so many variables. You got not for hire. They did well last year. Um, it's also another fun team. I seen Devin. Devin was leaving in a blizzard.
Yeah. Well, he lives in the North Pole, so I
Yeah,
think Santa Claus was coming down with him.
I thought our weather sucked, and then I seen his Snapchats. I was like, oh man, it's even worse up there.
Yeah. Yeah, that they always do well.
Yeah, well, you got Daryl Ewing and Corey Bunnell. I ran against those guys out in Montana a couple years ago at Willie's show, and
Yep.
fantastic drivers, fantastic drivers. Osa Mopar, Blake Neely. I think you is that the car you said you seen headed down there? Or
They're there.
yeah, we had they got right after Post Mopar, got GH Graphics, PJ Schnar, seen him been going down there. Kind of in all, I think he's ran singles, even limited weld. I think he's even touched in the compacts. So he's kind of been all over the Blizzard Bash space.
Yeah, and that team's always solid too. I mean, I
Yeah,
mean,
solid team.
every single national team's solid, but I mean, it seems like they're always kind of around towards the
Right.
end of the consi or whatever.
Right, right. Yeah, Chaos. We touched on them a little bit. Some local guys as well from North Dakota. The Bernsteins, Justin and Jackson, Corey Peterson, then John Hayes. Watch them work their way up through the qualifying. A while back, John was, I think he was on Derby T's team
Well, there's like
once.
2 years in a row he ran was signed up for singles, and then somebody was short somebody. So then I think it was Derby T's 1 year, and I don't remember who the next year. So he actually like stepped up and filled a national spot two
And
years in
carried
a
the
row.
team.
Yeah,
The one
did
year he basically
well.
carried the team.
Yeah, and then last year they did qualifying, or 2 years ago they did qualifying. So
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah, that team, and they do well at well, a couple times they've ran Carnage and stuff. So yeah, the solid team there for
yeah,
sure.
they could. Yeah, they just had a little bit of bad luck last year, but I think
Right.
if things go in their favor, they could be a very lethal team. And as always, the XP Derby Products team.
Yeah.
Think, yeah, I mean, used to be what Johnson's Wrecking. Don't believe they're called that anymore, but
Yep.
Dak and Troy Johnson, Wisconsin guys, Chris and Jared. That's those guys can wheel a car. Um, they also were out in Montana when I was out there. Fun to
Yep.
watch, fun to drive with.
They
They just,
won that show,
yeah, they
right?
got years of experience behind the wheel for sure. Derby icons. Uh, I know a few of the names in there. Um, but a little bit shuffled around. It looks like from the past.
Yeah.
And you got Nearat. You got Bobby Whitaker, Terry Timmons, and Ryan Durnham. I mean, like I said earlier, they're not. There's no bad teams. Don't get me
Right.
wrong. There's just some teams kind of flopped around who's on
Shuffle
who.
around. Yep.
They brought some team or some people up from the singles, and some people had people back out, vice versa. I mean, they're all good. Just some people have a few different people that I'm used to seeing, which I like because it's something different, something new to see.
I was looking while we got off. I was kind of looking at Snapchat and Facebook or whatever, and I saw like Team Bush Light. They got two well, Cheesy and Mike Worth both have Vicks, and I mean those are usually old iron for that. Well, Worth usually runs a Vic, I guess. He had a Vic last year, the
Right, but
bubble.
Cheesy's usually an old iron, I think.
Yeah, they both had Vicks, so it's just like I said. It's always weird to see kind of where the cars fall. Of who's bringing what or
Right.
what. Who like. I mean, who's gonna have an imp? I mean, I've seen a couple. I know Octane's got one, but I guess that's about all I've seen as far as imps built.
Yeah, and I don't, I don't know. I guess I was unimpressed with the imps last year, especially the subbers. The subframe imps were, in my opinion, trash. I mean, it's hard to hold that sub up, even though you can kind of tie it in. I don't know. Those box cars did much better.
What I noticed last year, and of course I wasn't down there, so it was all just what you saw on Facebook and trying to watch the live stream. It seemed like everybody that had an imp had like motor troubles or just something dumb happened, especially the
Mhm.
boxcar ones. Like those are all super clean going into the feature. And I guess in my
Straight.
opinion, that's probably not where you really want to use them. You want to use those, I don't know. And I don't know, never ran
Right,
national
right.
close, but
I
a
think
guy
the
would
steering though
think you would
too.
want those more for like the heat, like let's just
Right,
point them north and south and let them do work. And then if there's something left in the future, sweet, but that's not what you brought them there for.
right. Yeah, I just made it up to the singles list, just cruising through some of that. I'm not a big truck guy, so I'm not gonna try to touch too much on the trucks. I see Kyle Reynolds in there, Jason Cox,
Killer
um,
Miners. Yeah, it's
uh,
just all pre-ran stuff from all summer, I think, is most of it.
Nick Celeste. Yeah, I don't, not, I can't say a lot about the truck guys. Limited Weld though, I do see some new names in there. Some names I haven't seen in a while. Bryce Lanou. I haven't, I haven't
Right.
seen that name out for a while. So it'd be kind of neat to see him out there. Jake Elliott, Jamie Frost. I believe Jamie Frost used to be on a limited weld team. Um, so
Okay.
that's Kyle Anderson. Is that
Yeah. He's
okay?
free. He's from, yeah, the one from Sydney or Williston or whatever.
Okay, okay.
That
So
car's together, so I'm assuming it's going. I've seen it, so
sure.
or seen pictures.
And Trez is going again. Do you know is he running a Cadillac?
I haven't seen it yet. I've seen a trunk, I guess.
Yeah,
I think it's a Vic.
yeah.
I,
We know how he drives, so
yeah, he
whatever it
did
is,
really well last year, so I think he'll be there. Gunner's got a caddy. Chad Schroeder, he's got a Cadillac. I mean, he always seems to wheel stuff pretty good too.
Right.
Whether he's got four wheels or three, it seems like.
Right.
Brent and Dreesen, he usually, of course, these are all guys running beat down and stuff that we see a lot up here, but
Right.
he's usually drives hard, I think that's a Cadillac probably. Um, yeah, that's kind of as far as who I know on that list, I guess. But
Yeah. And modified. I'm curious how many of them hopped up
I,
too.
I don't think there's I don't think there's very many that are actually still there. Like Graham Barker, he's on a limited team. I'm pretty positive he doesn't have a mod.
Right.
I know
That
there was
is, yeah.
qualifying team that was short, so I think somebody bumped up from there. Yeah.
Right. So that could be a hit or miss class right there. And
Yeah.
front wheel drive youth. Is that a new class? Trying to think if they had
I did
that
it
last year.
last year, or
Maybe
where was it? Like a hobo
maybe it
class.
was hobo.
Yeah,
So okay, so these are probably
they're young kids. Yeah,
younger crowd, probably not quite familiar with them, except for maybe the last names.
yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah, I don't know any of those names, but there. I mean, there's a couple that either they're compact team guys or whatever. Same last names, like those,
right.
like that Blake Pudwitter, or I don't know how
Yep.
you're. I think
Yep.
there's two of those in there. So and Beauchamp. I suppose there probably is quite a few if you actually look through there.
Right. Yeah, and getting
I
to
know
the
the 448 team has a kid in that. I saw her compact on their
oh,
trailer.
sure. Cool. Yeah, it's good. I mean, kind of make it more of a family thing then too, because I just from helping a few people around here build cars for Blizzard Bash, it's a toll on the family because those are not light builds. I mean,
Oh,
they're
takes so much time. Like every like
even
we
if it
stopped.
is limited weld or whatever, there's no corners that you can cut. So you're I mean, you want to tidy everything up.
Yeah, like we were at Tory shop on Saturday and drove home, and I was talking to Kelsey, and it's so crazy to think like those national type cars. I mean, there's not a angle or an inch on that frame or car that's not thought about and put there for a reason. Whether
Right.
it's something that's tied in or pressured up or whatever. Like there's a reason for like every square inch of that car. It's nuts to think
Right.
how much thought, not even just trial and error that goes on them cars, like just sitting there and be like, all right, if I do this or it's at this height, and it's just crazy.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of them take the body off the car and have the frame sit in the shop for a couple weeks before they start doing anything just to figure out what they'll do with the frame. So it's yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, a lot more than some people even realize. So there's a lot of like I said, it's cool that they get the family involved because there's a lot of stress involved on them too. If you got kids or whatever, and the wife's got to take care of the kids because you're that type of build, you're working on it every night for, well, if you're Carson Dixon, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, but everyone else
Yeah,
is
well,
a month and a half, 2 months. Yeah, so it's tough. Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely. And I think one of the things about like the names on the national and the qualifying list. I know we're from North Dakota, so there's not. I mean, we're familiar with those names, but the people from the other parts of the country, you don't see those names as much. But I just think there's so much that goes into like those mod cars for Blizzard Bash that those guys don't run a ton all summer. Like maybe
right,
the limited well names that we went through that list and we knew like pretty much everybody on that one at least here.
right.
That then like the national team, because they've all ran Blizzard Bash for how many years, but the qualifying really didn't know many of them. Just
Right,
yeah,
right. Yeah, it's the truth. I mean, once you build a car like that, that kind of takes a toll on you.
like the North Dakota guys that build those cars. I mean, what do they do with those cars? I mean, there's no shows up here unless it's a random filler class or something. But I mean,
Right.
I was thinking this today when you told me to come on or whatever. Like, would you guys ever have mod cars as a filler class, or would it just be the yep, they're safe, you guys go duke it out? I mean, you're not gonna really
Wow,
tech 'em.
that's just it. That it gets asked, and it got asked again this year. And we're totally not against it, but how do I even start teching something like that?
Yeah,
Unless
and
you
by that
built
time,
it, and then you gotta not only have you gotta build one, you've almost had to have build every type of model of car in that sense because 'cause they're all built so differently.
exactly.
So it would be even the limited wild cards are tough, some of them, because everyone's always trying something new.
Yeah, I mean, those were pretty much the rules at Mott last year or whatever. There's a that limited weld class for Carnage and Blizzard Bash.
Right, right, right,
Yeah, it's just kind of. I mean, like you said, it. I think I don't know. Sometimes I think I don't know. Just like when you think of the big show, like Blizzard Bash type stuff, I wish there was more of like those classes up here or whatever, just so it's kind of more like I don't know, like the minor leagues to running Blizzard Bash. Every time
right,
guys that run Blizzard Bash run here, it's like that quality build, whatever. Like maybe down south, east, whatever, like that area. Those guys are always running mod cars, but I mean, obviously we have a hard time with cars anyway, but those
right,
guys that build cars for Blizzard Bash, I mean, they don't have anywhere to run them. They end up cutting them apart or cutting stuff out of them, and they got 4 or 5 of them sitting in the trees. There's nowhere to run them really,
right,
unless they go to like Iowa or whatever, like Mike and Tori did.
right. Yeah, there's a lot of traveling involved if you're gonna start
And
running cars.
it's a big commitment for those guys that do run down there. I mean, wherever they're from, not just North Dakota, but I mean, it's a big commitment to run a Blizzard Bash car because it's a lot of time and money and material that goes into that car, and it might not be junk when you bring it home.
Right, and think of the price of metal alone, that's gone up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those cars are heavy, heavy, heavy.
yeah. Yeah, I think is it Ryan Shivers' car? I think they
Yeah.
always have a hard time lifting his up on the lift during tech, so, I
Well,
mean
I saw something posted on the whatever Smash It page. Said if the lift doesn't pick it up, it won't go through tech.
oh, that's news to me. That's,
I don't,
hmm,
or maybe I actually read the rules because I think I might have been looking to see like how big a roof sign had to be for a team, and
sure,
actually read through the rules a little bit. I didn't really
right.
pick, but yeah, I think it said if your car doesn't get picked up by the lift, it won't get tech.
Yeah, that probably was a thing after Ryan, because I think there was a year they couldn't pick his car up.
Yeah, that way again. I mean, I guess. I mean, how do you look on that? There's two sides of that inspection sheet. There's a top side and a bottom side on it.
Right,
There's different main head techs for each side. And I mean, yeah, if you can't look at the bottom, I mean, how can you fairly tech it versus other ones?
right, right.
I
Well, I
mean,
know
that's the thing. There's a lot of cars down there. It'll be interesting when they start to go through tech. What happens? It always seems like there's a couple stragglers that load up, or have to load them, or whatever, or
right,
arguments. And that's what
right.
happens when there's that quality of builders down there.
Yeah, no, I've always enjoyed kinda walking through the tech hall when tech's going on and just kinda watching the heat draws and things like that. We haven't made it down there for that in a couple of years, but
Right.
it is always kinda well, not the national cars, but, see some of the limited stuff, but a couple years ago, we watched the national cars tech and the heat draws and stuff, and it's kind of exciting because there's a lot of emotion that goes into the heat draws as well. I mean, that's sometimes the heat draw, especially with all those caliber of drivers, it's a make it or break it deal.
Oh,
Um,
for sure. I mean, you draw the wild card heat with one of them teams that just made it in, or a new qualifying team or something that tries to go out there and prove themselves. Like it can put a hurting on a favorite pretty easily.
yeah, for sure.
Knock a wheel off of something, or I mean, whatever. Get shorthanded right off the bat. I mean, it just doesn't happen so fast down there.
Right. Right, right. No, I'm getting now that we're talking about it, I'm getting more excited to go.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you texted me this morning, right? Asked me
Yep.
if I wanted to be on. I was like, oh yeah, I want to be on and talk. And then I just kind of was getting more and more excited all day and seeing pictures of guys headed down. It's like, I want to be going down there. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
be at work today.
Yeah, yeah, that's hopefully we're moving sometime mid to late morning on Wednesday, and I don't know. Be nice to kind of get out of here because not very often take a vacation. So I don't know, get out of
Yeah,
town for a little bit.
better. I mean, it's not great all weekend, but it's better than it's going to be up here for sure.
Yeah, right,
Somebody
exactly.
was like, it's going to be negative down here this weekend. I'm like, oh, the heck
Yeah,
out.
right, exactly. Awesome. Well,
See
I
everybody,
guess
see everything, and
yeah, yeah. No, I'm excited to get down there. Excited to catch up with you down there and everyone else. Run into everyone, and
yeah, you'll
it'll be
probably
fun.
just be podcasting the whole time you're down there.
Yeah, yeah. I got quite a few lined up. It's
You'll just
just
have a
it's
backlog.
yeah. I'm gonna basically be just carrying my equipment. It feels like because when they're working on cars, I can't do it, so it's gonna be hit or miss. Like when they're done, hop in with some guys, or I got
Are
a
you
few other
gonna,
people that are doing
are you
some
still
other stuff.
gonna schedule out the posting, or are you just gonna feast or famine and just post them all like right away?
No, I'm gonna slowly post them because like a week like this, so I got sick on Saturday, and
Yeah,
it'd have been very awesome to have a podcast and backup. And I was supposed to have one from last week, and he never showed up. So it'd have been nice to have one that just drop in the bucket and play today. So
right.
I
Oh,
mean, not that don't want to film today, but I've been sick for the last 3 days, and it's like I wish I just had one to drop for the day. But oh well. I think
I know.
we're
I
good.
was trying to brainstorm some stuff, like not just your podcast stuff, but just kind of random stuff for down there. I don't know. I think
Yeah, I've been too.
I got three teams and a couple single guys to get done when I get down there. So just I don't know, pretty low key for me. I didn't really push too hard because I wasn't sure if I was going, so I was kind of wasn't too excited about it. But now
Right.
I would have did more, but that's all right too.
Yeah. Do you know where you guys are staying down there?
Um, yes, but don't ask. It's not the one at the expo center. It's like the next closest one downtown.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Probably someone's trailer, I would guess, because I already got told I had to help CPI, so I guess
Gotcha.
they're like,
Yeah.
put those sticker decals on. You got to help. I'm like, well, I was planning on it, I guess, but
Yeah.
I didn't think
Yeah.
it would be the full time deal. But we'll see, I guess, how it goes.
Yeah. The nightlife always gets interesting too.
Yeah, just if they get tore up bad, it'll be a long night. But if not too bad, just plates and whatever, then it's not too bad either.
Right. Right. Yeah. Time will tell. I appreciate you hopping on.
Yeah, no problem.
Be nice to see you in a couple days and drink some beers and
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm ready to get down there for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I once I seen the 70-degree weather for a couple days, it's like, well, even if it's only for a couple days, I can handle that.
I'm just ready to head that way. I mean, picking up everybody on the way. We've got a couple stops to get everybody in the pickup, but yeah, I'm
Right.
just
Right. Right. All right. Well, thanks again, Nevada, and we will see you down there.
all right. Sounds good.
Peace
Thanks.
out.